Hello art lovers! Welcome to my free drawing tutorial channel. In this video, we will see the process of drawing this large and detailed eye together. If you need the file to draw this drawing, you can download it from the link in the description. To design this eye, first of all, I create a general darkness. With a filbert brush, I outline the general shape of the eye and the tear duct and move on to drawing the eyelid. At the same time, I determine the amount of black in the eye area to determine the shape and difference between the eye and the eyelid. In the next step, I move on to the eyelashes, which I draw with a charcoal pencil. I draw the initial shape of all the main eyelashes. Make sure that the size and thickness of the eyelashes are sufficient due to the large size of the work. I darken the back of the eyelid and draw the darkness with a flat and filbert brush. Use a charcoal pencil in places where there is more darkness. For the back of the eyelid, I use a hard, flat brush number 14 and a filbert brush number 6. For some textures, I also use a blender to make the skin texture well defined. I draw the darkness behind the eyelid step by step to make the overall volume of the eyelid and the texture of the skin completely clear. I explain all the techniques we are performing in previous videos. If you haven't seen them, be sure to watch them. Given that the work is large, in some parts of the work, it is possible to use larger brushes. We go to the lower eyelid and draw the eyelashes. In some places, we only see the roots of the eyelashes, which we draw with a charcoal pencil. And with small and large flat brushes and filberts, we draw the volume of the lower eyelid. As you can see, I use a blender to create the skin texture and a charcoal pencil to create the darker lines. I use a filbert brush to draw the bulk of the work. In this corner of the painting, we have a pure black at the bottom of the eyelid, which I draw with pencil powder. Moving forward, I use the blender again to create the eyelid textures, and I use the filbert brush to give volume to the textures. I go back to the first part of the work and add the shadows and textures. There are also lights in this part that I draw. Given the previous videos, you must know by now which erasers you should use to create which light. In addition to using the eraser to create the lights, I use brushes to create the shadows and use the blender and electric eraser to beautifully draw the skin texture on the sharp parts. I draw the eyelashes again with a charcoal pencil until they are dark enough. I use a filbert brush in the areas where the eyelashes are blurred. I add darkness and lightness to the back of the eyelid at the same time and draw the dark strands that I see. Be careful with the darkness. You must draw it the same as the photo. If you want to change the contrast a little, that's fine, but be careful not to deviate from the appearance of a real eye. A few eyebrow strands are also visible, which I draw with a brush and eraser. As you can see, I draw these darker textures with a blender, filbert, and a small, flat brush. I return to the texture of the skin behind the eyelid. I draw a little more darkness and draw the fine textures with a charcoal pencil. Some of the strands need to be darker, which I also draw, and some of the lights I create with an electric eraser. I draw the textures that are medium gray with a regular B6 pencil. I also add the light in the corner of the eye. This design is full of details, so be patient and work carefully. As you can see, from here on, we draw the darks and the lights simultaneously using all the tools and techniques. Some of the eyelashes are also light, which I draw with an eraser. And I draw the very light parts with a white charcoal pencil. The more you work, the more you will understand where to use which tool. We will gradually move to the inside of the eye. I draw the darks that are in the white part of the eye with a hard, flat brush and a filbert brush, and then I move on to the iris. I use a charcoal pencil and a size 0 flat brush to draw the shadows, details, and shadows inside the eye. I draw all the depth and ridges inside the eye. I use the same darkness of the charcoal pencil to shade around it with a brush. Use the brush to draw the black that I have already created with the charcoal pencil towards the shadows. It is true that due to the large size of the painting, the lines that I see inside the iris and these details are thick, but the thin, double-sided line technique must be used to draw the shape and form of the iris correctly and beautifully. For the larger parts, I use a larger filbert brush, and for the smaller parts, I use a charcoal pencil and a number 0 brush. For the lighter parts that need to be drawn very delicately, I use a mechanical pencil. And again, for the general shadows, I use a hard, flat brush, number 12. In order to be able to draw the details well and correctly and according to the photo, always keep the tip of the charcoal pencil sharp. I keep a few charcoal pencils at my side while drawing and sharpen them in order. For the lighter parts, I just need to reduce the pressure of my hand to create lighter blacks and grays. In this part, I use smaller brushes, a size 0 filbert brush and a size 0 soft flat brush to create all the fine lines. And I gradually move on to the lights. I add both the lights and draw darkness wherever I feel I need more darkness. I use electric, mechanical, mono-zero, paste and pencil erasers, and wherever I need more darkness, I use a charcoal pencil and erase them with a flat brush and filbert. You must have realized by now the great importance of skill in using tools and techniques, so repeat this as much as you can and practice until you gain the necessary skill. Mono-zero eraser and mechanical eraser should always be sharp, like a charcoal pencil. As soon as you notice that their tip has softened, sharpen it. Some parts of the work are like shadows, and there is not much detail in them, so I drew them with a filbert brush. And again the details of the iris. I check the parts of the drawing again and add whatever is needed. I need to mention here again the importance of seeing. Be sure to look at the original photo well and draw everything you see in the photo. This art means skill in using tools, controlling hand pressure and concentration, and a lot of accuracy and patience. So do not rush at all. Go very slowly and check and draw everything part by part. Once again, I check the lights inside the iris to make sure that all the lights are as necessary. I draw the reflection of the eyelashes that are visible in the light part of the eye with a charcoal pencil and mark their location with a blender. I draw the very bright lights with a white charcoal pencil to create a beautiful contrast. And I draw the darkness of the pupil with a charcoal pencil. And I create the final details using all the fine tools. And finally, I draw the bright eyelashes of the upper eyelid, and adjust the gray level with a blender. I hope you have drawn a good drawing. If you have any questions, you can write them in the comments section so that I can answer you. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and like the video so that I can make many more videos for you with more energy. Good luck, my friend.